I'm Jarrett Carpenter. This is Future Signal. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see that I'm not in my normal recording studio. I'm currently in Central America, and that actually behind me is a volcano, and that leads me into the conversation I want to have today. So the conversation I want to have today is around traveling to places where Bitcoin is being used. Now, in Guatemala, there is Lago Atitlan, which is now called Bitcoin Lake. There's a bunch of Bitcoin activity going on there. On this trip, I wasn't actually able to get out there, even though I wanted to see the lake. It's beautiful. It's very relaxing, but to also see what the local economy is building around Bitcoin, what that looks like. I have not been there probably 8 years, and everything changed after the pandemic. So I'd like to do that. The other thing is Guatemala is neighbors to El Salvador. That is right next door. And from where I am in Antigua, Guatemala, I don't know, 5 hours maybe. It's really quite close. And I would like to get down to Bitcoin Beach. I would like to see what's going on in El Zonte. And so what I'm doing, I'm making this video, making this super simple episode. And I have been slacking on content. I've been slacking on these episodes because I've been traveling, haven't always been in places where there's been a lot of good Wi-Fi, haven't had a good setup, it's pretty quiet here. Some of the places I've been, there's a lot of cars, a lot of motos going by, and it's just too loud for me to record content. So I wanted to take this moment to do this, to talk about the fact that I'm in Antigua, Guatemala. By the time I put this out, I may not be in Antigua, but I want to put it out there. And this is an episode that is really an invitation. If you're going to watch this, if you're listening to this, if you've been following the channel, you've been following Future Signal, if you're into Bitcoin, if you want to see what that looks like on the ground, I think in 2026, I want to put feelers out to put together a group of probably 5 to 7 people, 5 to 7 ideally followers of Future Signal, to come down. And what we would do is we'd probably do a week-long trip in between Guatemala and El Salvador, maybe a little bit longer. I want to see, but I'm just trying to get a heat check. And we'd go to Bitcoin Lake. We'd also go over to El Salvador. So I want to see if there are people that are interested in doing that, because I've had other people kind of reach out and ask about that, because they know that, I'm based out of Colombia. They know that things are different in Latin America than they are maybe in the States. And many of my followers, many of the listeners, because of this is in English and because I am from the States, are stateside. And so maybe they want to get out, maybe they want to do a trip, and maybe doing a trip with someone else who's in Bitcoin, who's a Bitcoiner, would be of interest. So if that is of interest for you, I want you to leave a comment below. You can, follow us on socials at Future Signal XYZ. You can DM me and say I'm interested. This is the first of many. I think I'm going to dive into this a little bit further, put together an itinerary, and then kind of throw this back out there. I had this idea of being in Guatemala, spending time here, and being like, being abroad is really magical, especially if you're stateside, getting out of the United States, seeing a different part of the world, seeing how things are. And then for you, if you're watching this or you're listening to this and you're into Bitcoin, it may be something where you're like, you know what? I've been wanting to see what's going on in El Salvador, but really haven't had a crew to go do it. So why don't I go down with Jarrett and Future Signal? He's going to put a crew together. People are going to go down. It's going to be a great time. So anyways, if this is at all interesting to you, I'm just putting it out there. And if there is interest, I am going to put together an itinerary. I'll probably put together a whole plan and really kind of create a package. So you don't have to think about anything. You're going to be picked up from the airport and dropped off at the airport when it's done. Let me know if this is at all interesting. So if you're a Bitcoiner and you like to travel, you like to get to know new places, if you speak Spanish, that would be helpful. But in Guatemala, in El Salvador, you don't need to speak Spanish. I'll be here. We'll have people. We're going to put this together properly. So anyways, this is an invitation. If you have been following Future Signal, if you're a Bitcoiner and you want to get down to other places where it's being used, like I said, we'll go to Bitcoin Lake in Guatemala, which is from here about 2 hours-ish, more or less, from where I'm in Antigua. And we will also be going to El Salvador. We'll probably spend the majority of time in El Salvador because I want to go check out some things, and I have some good contacts in El Salvador that have been building on Bitcoin since the beginning. Some contacts who even helped Bukele put together the Chivo wallet. So if you're interested in this at all, go ahead, comment below if you're watching on YouTube that you're going to be interested. And I would say definitely follow on X, Future Signal XYZ, and then DM me that you're interested, or comment below, and then I'll start a DM with you on X and we'll start there. I think I'm also going to open up a Telegram for this as well if there is interest, but I was just throwing this out there. I needed to make some content. It's been a while. I need to get an episode up. People have been asking, hey, what have you been doing? It's been kind of quiet. I've been traveling in Guatemala. I haven't had the time, haven't had the bandwidth. I haven't had a moment of peace, a moment like this where I can just sit and kind of put out an episode. So anyways, this is an invitation. If you're a Bitcoiner and you want to get down to Bitcoin Lake in Guatemala and go down to Bitcoin Beach in El Salvador and check out some other stuff in El Salvador, probably in 2026, probably a year from now, May of 2026, go ahead, comment below on this video. Go ahead on X, Future Signal XYZ, leave a comment and say something like, Bitcoin Future Signal Travel 2026. I don't know. I'll come up with something better. This is pretty off the cuff, but I wanted to do this. If you're watching this, please go ahead and follow us on socials at Future Signal XYZ, and make sure you're subscribing if you're watching this on YouTube or you are listening to this on a podcast platform. Let's get together and travel. Let's do it. 2026 is coming. It's around the corner. If you're interested in May of 2026, let's do a trip together. So thank you for watching this, and I will see you next time.